This picture captured a very tender moment between First Lady Michelle Obama and former President George W. Bush. Came on Saturday at the opening of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. CBS This Morning, you may recall, was the first media outlet to broadcast live from there. The opening ceremony for the museum, located on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., was punctuated by plenty of powerful moments.
It's been a long time.
The National Museum of African American History and Culture is a monument to pain, suffering, and victory. 4 generations of a slave's family, alongside President and Mrs. Obama, opened the institution with the ringing of a 130-year-old freedom bell. The gleaming 400,000-square-foot museum was a dream deferred. Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights icon, introduced 13 different bills to create it.
This place is more than a building. It is a dream come true.
The museum contains close to 40,000 artifacts. Activists fought for this space for more than 100 years. In 2003, President George W. Bush signed legislation that moved it from just a bill to a building.
Great nation does not hide its history. It faces its flaws and corrects them.
The country's first black president recast the words of poet Langston Hughes.
We're not a burden on America or a stain on America. We're an object of pity or charity for America. We're America.
The museum, meant for all Americans, is an acknowledgement of a people's history and their culture.
It is my hope that each and every person who visits this beautiful museum will walk away deeply inspired, filled with a greater respect for the dignity and the worth of every human being.
Wow, you were there, Gayle.
Yeah. Oh, I was there, and I have to tell you, that moment between George Bush and Michelle Obama, number one, President Bush was so poignant when he said it's a museum that tells the truth, and it shows America's capacity to change. But when he walked out, that hug was very tender.
And beyond the fact that he signed the legislation,
yes,
you get a sense that there is a certain kind of affection.
Yeah, they do seem to greatly, on both sides, admire each other. And you could feel people in the room going, look at that, look at that.
I mean, Mrs. Obama and Mrs. Bush were together recently working on military issues. Mrs. Obama and George W. Bush were together at the Dallas shooting. This is a friendship that has, and I think, a example of bipartisanship that is needed more than ever.
Absolutely. And the president's often given credit to this president's father, Bush 41, for influence and what he thought of as dignity.
Yeah, I can't say enough about that museum, though, guys. Every time I go, it fills you up in another way. You see things you didn't. It really is a people's story, a nation's journey. There's something for everybody there.
Indeed.